Yeah, hi peeps, it's Tersse back on the old squat box once again. This is going to be a political, activist, progressive kind of commentary on some different things in the world. First thing I'd like to bring up is there's a guy called Liberal Viewer who does YouTube videos. He's been doing some face-to-camera videos where he presents ideas backed up with captured video from news outlets, etc. TV broadcasts and that. And I'll put a link to the most recent one that I've watched. Very interesting, makes some serious points. And there's the most recent sort of excursion by Obama into the real world outside of America. That's America, that faux reality based on corporate greed and profit. But Obama's made some excursions into the real world, most recently to South Africa, where he made some speeches. One of them, he mentioned some previous presidents who had visited South Africa, JF Kennedy, who talked about the ripples of building fight against the antagonism in the world from bigots and immorality, whatever, that sort of thing. I'm saying the wrong things here now. I had it all in my mind what I was going to say, but because I don't take notes, I'm just off the cuff here again, right? So anyway, but Obama mentioned quite a few things about extending the Western world's influence into areas of the world where there's discord and governments who oppress their own people. There's bad areas in the world where people don't have rights and have got no hope for the future and stuff like that. And I wholeheartedly agree that you should do stuff like that, but I think that what a lot of people in the Western world need to realise is, although the West publicises and propagates this idea that we are the bastions of hope for the world, we're the bastions of freedom and liberty and democracy, slowly but surely in the Western world we're seeing that freedom and liberty and democracy being eroded by the self-same people who say that they're trying to express it and export it across the world. The very same people like Obama, George Bush, Blair, Cameron, not Mengle, I can't remember the name of the German bitches in charge of Germany, but and the Italian fucking fat fucker who shags girls at his fucking bunga parties. More so in the West, we are seeing a huge erosion in our freedom and liberty, and it's instigated not by the evil Middle Easterners. It's not propagated by the evil terrorists. It's actually propagated by our own governments and our own politicians. They seem to fear any sense of free speech, freedom of expression, especially if it's an expression against their acts, their policies that infringe upon our given human given rights, our ability to speak up, our ability to question, our ability to find fault in our governments. That seems to be a horror, a terror to them. even more horrific and more terrorising than the terrorists who would bomb our streets, you know. To have 200 or 300 people stand in front of Parliament, or stand in front of the White House and complain, or stand in front of your local town hall and complain, that seems to be a huge horror, a terror to the people in power, more so than bombs falling from the skies or plagues, you know, sweeping across the nations. You know, these sort of things, well, they'll cut funding for that, but they will pay extra money to the police force, they'll pay extra money to the CIA, they'll pay extra money to the fucking, you know, the hackers of the government to, you know, hack into your computer and find out what you're watching, what you've got on your hard drive. That seems more important to them than allowing you just the freedom to fucking store on your computer what you want, to speak freely on the internet. That's a horror to them. That's terror. As if me complaining about my local councillor would in any sense, you know, be an infringement upon the government to act or do its job. I think this is the real fight we're going to face over the next 10-20 years, is to claw back democracy, to claw back the freedom for people to live their lives without fear of their own government. I mean, we already know that terrorists can bomb a subway, can crash a plane into a building, can plant a bomb, you know, in a car outside your local supermarket. We know these things, but a lot of people don't realise that it's your own government, your own council, your own local, you know, supremo, you know what I mean, who can destroy your life in a second. It's your own police force who can hack into your computer, tap your telephone, follow you everywhere you go, question you on every single conversation you ever had with any person you might have bumped into and passed a fleeting pleasantries of you know, good weather, bad weather, you know, how horrible the day was, how good it was yesterday, you know. That could, if they haven't recorded it, or even they have recorded it, but then they just delete it and say, well, we captured them on film talk, but we never caught the conversation. They know the conversation, but they can use that against you, simply because you talk to someone that they know is bad, and your connection with him was fleeting. You passed a pleasantry talking to him that morning at a bus stop or something. And the next thing you know, you're on the watch list. The next thing you know, you're on the fucking special branches, you know, to be considered fucking list, you know. And I think more and more we're losing the whole identity of being in a democratic modern society. More and more the Western democratic societies are becoming more like the 1940s, 1950s Soviet Union, you know, police-controlled states, you know. We need to start fighting back. We need to start to claw back the rights and the ability to live your life without threat or hindrance, you know. To just do your daily business, to just walk the street. I mean, I've got no qualms about having cameras in the street to capture crime, but I don't want every single thing that happens to be recorded and kept forever. There's a time limit on recorded information. And surely, you know, 12 weeks. Surely if nothing's happened or nothing's been reported that you need to dig through those files for 12 weeks, surely that's enough. I've got no qualms about them capturing information. I do have qualms about them holding that information forever. And as I say, I think in the Western world we are losing the whole point of democracy and freedom. There is a balance that we need to have between, you know, freedom and security. But there's no such thing as total freedom, there's no such thing as total security. So that balance has to be drawn on the downside of total, the underside of total. There is no total. You can't be totally secure. You can't be totally free. But if we're going to allow our governments to capture every single piece of information about you throughout your whole life, from being a teen to being 50 like me, there's always going to be some mistakes you made which they could bring up and use against you any time they feel necessary to put pressure on you. And therefore I do believe that there should be a time limit placed on any captured information, a time limit which says that information is now deleted because nothing important has been found to be needed to be searched through, and that bunch of information to be found. So I would say 12 weeks, good enough, and then it should be scrubbed. The next bunch of information coming in dumps the last bunch of information out the bottom. So it's sort of like a stream of information they can capture, but not something they can just keep forever. Anyway, strange about motherfuckers. I hope you'll try and understand what I've said pretty badly, but mean wholeheartedly. Cheers.